I want to start with Kevin Durant because you know this team inside and out. You're around them every single day. Kevin Durant, I was reading this earlier, has scored 25 points or more in every game this season. He is the first player to do that through 14 games of the season since Michael Jordan in '89. There have been players going in and out of the lineup. There's been drama swirling around this team. What has allowed him to just blossom in that way?
He's exceptional. And we know this about Kevin Durant, but often we think about those numbers as a scorer. What stood out to me is he's picked apart every coverage he has seen. The offense is funneling through him, but it's about the movement, it's the actions. He reads double teams in such a way that nothing is speeding him up. And I think when it comes to Kevin Durant, he could score against anybody. He could score against any look, but he's not forcing anything. And I think that's allowed. The ball has energy. They find him early, and then there's movements off of it. If he doesn't have it, the continued showing of how this offense has been functioning has been an entire product to me of his decision-making, his ability to pass, and I think that's often underrated.
There's a lot of interesting stuff going on your beat, Ms. Kustov. A lot of interesting stuff going on. One of the interesting things is that is Ben Simmons just a backup center now? Is this a permanent thing? And is it working? Why is it working?
I don't know.
I feel like we should be talking more about this.
I don't know. Well, we're not, because there's other things to talk about. I don't know. I think it's a fluid situation. I think you see that with all teams and all lineups, but that is where he has fit best. The starting lineup for this group, with how it's been composed the last 6 games, has been excellent together. I think Ben in that 5 spot is the best position, especially given the front court of the Nets and how it looks. But for Ben, I think it's just a work in progress. 1, he's coming off the major back surgery. 2, he's getting acclimated and fitting with other teammates. And I also think just, when I watch him, to me, sometimes it's overthinking. There's so much emphasis on being more aggressive, looking to score, that you could tell he's coming up the court and he's thinking that about every single play. And I think it's the balance between not forcing things, playing his own game, and just trying to get comfortable again. But I think the aspect of how he's looking at the offense, how he's focusing on that, it's all going to start at the defensive end for him, because that's where he should be at his best.
Right. Is that your read on Ben Simmons when you're watching him? I know he's missed spurts this season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's recovering from injury again, right? And it's overthinking. I think almost undersells it. I mean, you can see when someone's overthinking, you can't always see
on both sides,
how much he's overthinking, and I'm sure you can hear the crowd starting to build up when he might shoot. All that stuff has to be in your head. And defensively, it's hard to be a center. Like he's never really had to play that role consistently before, protecting the rim, being the guy on the back line. He's more of a switch guard point. Remember, he guarded D'Angelo Russell in the playoffs.
But that's where I think understanding too. When are we switching? That's what's worked so well defensively for the Nets lately, and with knowing when are we switching? How are we not over helping? What do our rotations look like? And I think with Ben, it's that constant questioning of what's happening on this situation, on this action. And I think once that lessens, then he will continue to look more like the Ben Simmons that you hope for.
And we've all grown accustomed to seeing, particularly when you think to 2 years ago, he was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. But the Nets as a team, I mean, they've leveled up their defense recently. What have you seen that's been working so well for them that they can get to translate when they have their full complement of players?
I think with all things defensively, it starts with effort. It starts with engagement. And there's a different level of engagement from this group, the communication. I think anytime you're understanding a system, the more communication that happens, the more knowing of moving on a string, having each other's back. I think it's a combination of a lot of things for this group, but when you look down the lineup, there are good individual defenders, but the rim protection that helps on Kevin Durant, we could talk as much as we want about his offensive numbers. He's averaging almost 2 blocks per game. His ability to cover ground and be on that backside help has been something that's been a game changer for this group. And we just saw Jacque Vaughn. Jacque Vaughn has been excellent with his communication with guys, his in-game adjustments, and I think that's been a big factor as well these last few games.
Yeah, Zach, final thoughts here on Brooklyn for now.
Can they keep this going, and what happens when Kyrie comes back?
2 big questions that if I had the answer to, I'd be a much more popular person. Can they keep it going? Yeah, because I think there's a good energy, there's a good vibe, and the things that they're doing are not outside the realm of what all of these individuals can perform like and collectively do so. When Kyrie Irving comes back, you're getting a highly, highly skilled and such a high-level player, but how does he fit into the continued construct of how they've been playing through Kevin, what they've been doing with their ball share?
How well they've been playing defense.
Defensively has been how they have been winning, though he showed that ability at the early part of this season. So I think there's a lot of factors that will come into play, but more of it is just about this continued level of attention to detail that is different than it was at the early start of the season.
Before we let you go, Sarah, I feel like I need this advice. I think Zach needs this advice. I know Chiney needs this advice on working with Richard Jefferson.
I know where you're going.
Can we
I got nothing. I got nothing.
It's like the NCAA tournament. You just got to survive in advance. Put your head down and move forward. That's all.
Survive and advance.
I did just turn off the volume on him and don't listen to him.
Oh, you know what, Director Kathy? Now we got it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.